Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Virupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shatan Vitamscha Om Jnanandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Govinda Govinda. So dear devotees, Devashis Prabhu is in fact our host, so we can come to Devashis Prabhu, but first of all I can mention that he has given a very classic title to get us started this evening and to get us started for the rest of our lives. Humility, tolerance, and honor to all. Just a motto or the key to spiritual life. So, in my school days, when I was young and went to school, they were just changing the system of answering questions in examinations from where you actually write with a pen and use alphabet and letters, and you would write an answer to a question. And then they were changing the system so that you just put a tick or a cross in a box, A, B, C, or D. And here, if we were just to follow that new system from 50 plus years ago, if we to follow that new system, and then with this question, just a motto or the key to spiritual life, then I would definitely put my tick mark to the key to spiritual life.
Yes, indeed. And actually, my apologies because motto spelt wrong, as you probably, it should be 2 T's, not just 1 T. So if anyone was confused why I was asking if it was a motto, it was my bad spelling. It should be double T, motto. So yeah, in other words, is it just something that we put on a T-shirt or a bumper sticker or something, or is it the key to spiritual life? And really, Maharaj is entirely correct, and I'm sure you all understand as well that it is the essential key to spiritual life. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj, he said, it's the trade secret of devotion. It's an open secret because it's been given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for the sadhaka, of all of the 8 verses of Shikastakam, it's probably the most essential and the most crucial of all of those, and of all advices, actually. And when Srila Govinda Maharaj first came to London, or first came on the first world tour, and he gave a lecture in our mott in London, and he said, I'm thinking, what will I say to the devotees? Because they are all already enlightened with Krishna consciousness through the preaching of Swami Maharaj and so on. So what will I say to them? He said, so I'm thinking about this very carefully. Then he said, it came to me that the time has come when we have to discuss why, after so many years of chanting Hare Krishna, no one's actually getting the result. And he said there can only be 2 reasons. One is that the whole thing is just, like a fabrication or some sort of cheating or something. And he said, and if it were a cheating matter, well, I would have left it a long time ago. Said, because I may not be able to do any good for you, but at least I won't do anything harmful to you or anything bad for you. Said, but we know from the scriptures and the saints that it is real and that it is substantial and the genuine thing. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is not a cheating matter. It's proven by the saints, proven by the scriptures. So the only other reason why we're not getting the result is we must be doing something wrong. And he said, now is the time for us to understand what it is that we're doing wrong. And he said, my conclusion is that we're not properly following Mahaprabhu's instruction of Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarariva Sohishnana, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Shadahari. In other words, we're not properly practicing humility. We're not properly giving honor, being tolerant, and we're not properly giving honor to others. And least we forget, the other side of that is not to expect any kind of honor for ourselves. So he said, so this is the time that we should understand this, because these instructions are not mundane. They're transcendental, because they're coming from the mouth, or if you like, the pen of Sri Chaitanya Dev himself. He's giving us this advice that we must be humble, we must be tolerant, and we must give honor to others, and at the same time not desire any honor or recognition for ourselves. So, this is, as Srila Guru Maharaj said, the trade secret to success in spiritual life, and it can't be overemphasized. If we talk about this every single day from now until eternity, it still won't be enough for us to be able to properly understand this. This has to be, like chalked on our hearts and our heads indelibly, so that we always think about this, that everything we do relates to this. In every circumstance, we should be considering, in this particular instance, how will I be humble? How will I be tolerant? How will I be able to give honor to others? And how will I be able to give up the desire for any honor or prestige for myself? This should be our constant meditation if we wish to be successful in spiritual life, because the latter part of that verse says, who can do these things? They are qualified to chant the holy name of Krishna always. So, just making the sound isn't enough. Unless you have these qualities of humility, tolerance, and honoring all, you won't be able to progress happily in your spiritual life. You'll always be held back. So the opposite of those things we have to consider. So the opposite of humility is pride and arrogance. So, then we must consider, am I full of pride and arrogance? And if I am, then what can I do to change that? And the opposite of tolerance is, of course, intolerance. So am I a tolerant person or am I an intolerant person? And I would suggest, at least you can say in my own case, I can measure that very easily just when I get behind the wheel of a car, just driving, how intolerant I am of other people when they're on the road. I'm always cursing everybody for what I perceive as their bad driving. So it's quite a good measure, I think, of how intolerant we actually are. And we are, intolerance, very difficult to be tolerant, because, we're kind of hardwired to react to every situation in a defensive way. And then giving honor to others, well, that's also something we don't like to do. We can see that it's one of the terrible qualities of the human being, that we love to see others in difficulty and we love to see others fail. That's why the newsagents are full of, newspapers and magazines that are only about that. They like to build somebody up, maybe usually some famous person, and while they're doing that, they're looking for dirt on that person. And when they can find that dirt, oh, how gleefully they present that, and how everybody swallows that up. Oh, yeah, I knew they were like this. I knew they were like that. Look how terrible they are. And we feel some kind of perverse pleasure in the failings of others. It's a very horrible thing, but it's a fact nevertheless. Otherwise, why are these publications so popular? Why is it so popular for us to look at the failings of other and find some satisfaction in that? And of course, we are at the same time as not being able to give proper honor to others, we are thinking that we are very important and that all kinds of honor should come to us. And when discussing this with Srila Govinda Maharaj, he said, not just to me, but to many people, I'm sure, on different occasions, that, that of all of them, tolerance is will give us the greatest result if we can be tolerant. So, because you can fool people that you're humble. You can easily pretend to be humble. And, we see that in that novel by Charles Dickens, David Copperfield. In that story, there's a clerk there. His name is Uriah Heep, and he's very humble to everyone. But while he's being so humble, he's plotting to overthrow everybody. He's plotting against everybody while pretending to be their most humble servant. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, too much humility is the sign of a thief. So, it also has to be real. But so you can fake humility, and you can also fake giving honor to others. You can say so many things in praise of others with great insincerity and try and convince everyone how good you are at that. But tolerance, you either you are or you aren't. You can't fake tolerance, maybe up to a degree. When I first went to the temple many years ago in London, it was in Bury Place, and at that time there was the temple president. His name was Hari Krishna Das, and he told me that that there used to be a man that would come every day or every few days. He would come to the temple, and when they would open the curtains and show the deity, he would faint in some kind of a devotional fit on the floor, and that no one could raise him. He had like some kind of ecstatic fainting on the floor, and they didn't know what to do about this. So they asked Srila Prabhupada, what should we do, Prabhupada, when this man comes and does that? And Prabhupada's reply was, you should kick him in the head and then see if it's real or not. Because if it's real, it won't have any effect on him. You can kick him as much as you like. And he said, and if he remains in his trance or whatever it is, then you should offer your obeisances to him, because there's a pretty good chance it's actually real. But and I don't know if they did that or not, but you can understand from that, when someone's kicking you, it's very difficult to be tolerant. We know, if somebody just treads on your foot when you're on the train, you get upset, you get angry. Or if somebody pulls up in front of you in their car and cuts you off, you get angry. We know that. We know all these things happen. So it's difficult. It's not really possible to fake being tolerant. Up to a point, you can be like that, And we heard from Srila Gurudev that amongst his crew of you can say devotees that were like what we used to say the those that were the veranda crew, those that looked after Srila Gurudev personally, then not all of them got along with one another. So we heard from Srila Gurudev that one of the ladies, she approached Gurudev and said about another member of the crew, I really can't tolerate this person. They're really, like winding me up there. I just don't know what to do. I'm trying to tolerate. I can't tolerate that. And Srila Gurudev would say, you must tolerate, you must tolerate, you must tolerate. And then again, after some time, that devotee came and said, Maharaj, I've tried and I've tried, but I still can't tolerate them. And Srila Gurudev's reply was, because you're not tolerating with affection. So it's not just good enough to be tolerant of someone. You have to have affectionate feelings for that person. You can't hate that person and just tolerate them. It's not a question of, biting your tongue. It's a question of having some affectionate feeling for that person. And in this way, you'll be able to tolerate. And once when I asked Srila Govinda Maharaj, is there any advice that you would like to share with the devotees in London? I was in India with him and I was returning, and I asked him, yes, when I return, is there any advice or instruction you want to share with the devotees in London? And his reply was, yes, the devotees in London, they must learn to tolerate everything, and tolerate until it becomes completely intolerable, and then also tolerate that. So of all of those, the advices of Mahaprabhu, Srila Gurudev said that tolerance will give you the greatest benefit or the greatest results. But we must also be humble, but humility must be real. I was discussing this with one of the devotees, the other day, and he said, I read in the book that you only have to be humble to the devotees, that Sridhar Maharaj said, you don't have to be humble to the madman or, to the mob, but humble to the devotees. And I said, yes, that's true. But that doesn't mean that therefore it's okay for you to be arrogant to everybody else that's not a devotee. That won't be real humility. And in that same vein, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, as he often said, religion means proper adjustment. So humility also has to be adjusted according to the time and circumstance. And he gives the example: if somebody comes to, attack the devotees, or molest the temple or something, threaten the temple, then we shouldn't just stand by with our folded palms being humble about that. We should stand to oppose that. And that will be actually proper humility. And Guru Maharaj used the example of Hanumanji. When Hanuman burnt down the city of Lanka, when they set fire to his tail and he burnt the whole city down, Guru Maharaj said his humility was not disturbed by that action at all, because he was acting in the name of Ram, in the name of Lord Ram, so in devotion to Lord Ram. So that actually was, or from one point of view, you might see it as an act of aggression, but actually it was an act of purest humility. So this way we can adjust. But it doesn't mean that if someone's not a devotee, that gives us a license to abuse that person or to be, to deal with them in a harsh and arrogant way. We should always practice humility as far as possible. And but particularly, I think Srila Guru Maharaj means particularly we should always be humble before the devotees of the Lord. So we should never try to be assertive and arrogant in the presence of the devotees of the Lord, because that will be a mark against us. So we shouldn't do that. And of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's given the example of, yes, humble, but how humble? As humble as the grass, as humble as the straw in the street. And he says, the straw in the street or the grass is so humble that when you tread on it, it doesn't resist, it doesn't push back. and he said, our situation is so poor, even worse than the grass or the straw in the street, that when the Lord comes to grace us, we resist that and we push back against it. So even worse than the grass, we don't accept, we push back because we think we know better. So, then humility. It's very difficult to understand really what is humility. And in one definition, I heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj say, real humility means the complete absence of the desire to enjoy. So, to enjoy this life, to enjoy separately from Krishna, to thinking that this life is meant for our sense enjoyment, or, to find our satisfaction in those things. If as long as we have that, then we are not really humble. And of course, tolerance, how tolerant? As tolerant as the tree. So that's given as the example, the emblem of tolerance is the tree, because you can, carve your name in it, you can chop off its branches, you can even cut it down, and it doesn't object. And even while you're cutting it down, it still gives you its shade and its fruits and so on without any complaint. So this is the actual standard and emblem of tolerance. And to give honor to all, Guru Maharaj is saying, by honoring others, they become honorable. Even if you think they're not honorable, if you can find something honorable within them, something worth honoring, and give honor to them, then they can become honorable. And of course, to be able to leave off the desire to be honored by others, ourselves, to be recognized and and praised, and given so much recognition for our own self. That's very difficult. That means we have to curb our ego. Our ego is telling us that we're very important, maybe singularly important. Don't they know who I am, what I've done, who my father is, what my qualifications are, all of these things, then we can only understand that when we realize our own insignificance. And actually, that's one symptom of those who have real connection with the divine, those who have a connection with the eternal reality. Then very easily they're able to see that their own position is very insignificant, and that's not just a theoretical thing, but it is an actual realization. And with that realization of our insignificance, then why we can't understand that we don't have anything to be praised for, or anything that to be honored for, and why we can't be humble when we understand what our real position is, and tolerant, that actually what happens to me is really of no significance in the grand scheme of things. So, then why we shouldn't be tolerant, why we shouldn't be humble, and why shouldn't we give honor to others when the Lord is dwelling in their heart, and everyone, from the highest Brahmin to the most degraded demon, we can say everyone has something worth honoring in their heart. And really, that's the truth. And we just have to, look a little deeply there, dive deep into the bright side of that person, Srila Guru Maharaj said, so everyone has some good in them. And it's a very good practice, especially with the devotees, to only try to see the devotional side of their nature, and try to ignore all the other things that are just peripheral. Really, they're just, when somebody may be filthy dirty, but if they're even on their way to the shower, then we cannot condemn them for that, for being unclean, because they're on their way to get clean. And so that's the same thing. Somebody may be full of all kinds of bad qualities, but because they're trying to earnestly take to the path of devotion, very soon they'll be clean. And so we should anticipate that and, give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And of course, if we want to be merciful to others, if we are merciful to others, then we can hope that others might be merciful to us. So we should never arrogantly think that we're above that. There's that saying, there but by the grace of God go I. So we should try to see that whatever situation anybody's in, that could easily be me, that could easily be us. Just by some grace, we've avoided that. And so those persons, they can also accept some grace in their life. And if they'll accept that grace, then very soon they'll be honorable. Very soon they'll be worthy of our admiration. If we can think in this way and try in every way, in every situation, to practice humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and abjuring that desire to be honored ourselves, then very easily and very quickly we can progress in spiritual life. But without those things, we won't be able to go very easily forward. So that, in one sense, that's our most important sadhana. It is a sadhana that we have to practice humility, we have to practice tolerance, and we have to give honor to others in every situation. It is a sadhana. We should think about this, we should contemplate this, and see how much averse I am to those things, and try to correct ourselves. And if we can do that, then we can have the chance of inviting the pure name of Krishna into our heart, to make our heart his living place, to make our tongue his dancing place. And that's only possible in the heart of a Vaishnava that has become humble, that is tolerant, and that is giving honor to all, and has no desire for honor or prestige for themselves. That should be our goal in life, if nothing else. So anyway, these are my few words about that today. And I'm sure there are many Vaishnavas here, especially our Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, who can give some good advice on this subject, and even better than I can. So thank you all for listening to me today, this evening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I turned my microphone off and now on. So about just, another thought about the humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. First of all, before the Zoom this evening, then Braja Sundari said, oh, please send us some text if you're going to be reading some description, something from the books today. And really, it came in my mind, so which text will I send? Because there must be hundreds of quotes of Srila Gurudev, hundreds of quotes of Srila Guru Maharaj, hundreds of quotes of Srila Prabhupada also, of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, of Narottam Das Thakur, the author of our songs, Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is just so much, because this is the theme of the behavior of the devotees, should be the theme. And so when we see the mood of the devotees, those who are not practicing to be devotees, but who are devotees, then we see that this is the very theme. The humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, not wanting honor for oneself, the opposite of wanting honor for oneself, really feeling oneself to be low and absolutely in need of mercy, of grace from above. These are the consistent themes throughout the character of the Vaishnavas. And along with sadhu sangha and the quality of sadhu sangha and seva, all of these are very much intertwined. It's not just one item, but they're all intertwined and acting together to make the life of a human, especially at this time, successful. And the point is, we do have a life of a human at this time. And we've got the best masters who have got in black and white as well as in digitally recorded, everything, so many things. They've got their life recorded, their messages recorded. And we've got really the greatest guidance, the greatest masters, and that mood which the devotees have imbibed in their heart. And somehow or another, when we meet devotees, we know when we meet a devotee from our family, because we kind of feel that humility and tolerance mood, that faithful mood, that affectionate mood, that Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, they imbibed into the devotees' hearts by their grace. So we have been with Gurudev, we've been with Guru Maharaj, we've seen their life of how they have dealt with adverse situations. It's not all, I was going to say a bed of roses, but roses do have thorns on them if they're not, digitally? No, if they're not mutilated, I forget what the word is. When they've not been, their DNA has not been adjusted so that they don't have thorns, which I'm told they now adjusted the DNA of roses so they don't have thorns. What is the world coming to? Anyway, it's not a bed of roses, but there are so many challenges. And we saw personally Srila Guru Maharaj being challenged by, you can say, some audacious young devotees who think they know everything, and how humble, tolerant, and giving honor was Guru Maharaj, and not wanting honor for himself. I mean, really the example of that. And some of those kind of challenges, they are recorded. And you can hear Guru Maharaj's humility. And even when he's trying to get some message to them, he's giving honor to them. What they are doing is they are standing for what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave. They are following their Guru, Srila Bhakti, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, giving them so much support and encouragement, but at the same time pointing out things with much humility about how, well, advices, you can say, Srila Guru Maharaj giving advices, but in a very humble way, and tolerating the basically abuse that they are giving to him. He's tolerating that and trying to get them to see what is the proper etiquette, and that he has so many years. Guru Maharaj not wanting honor for himself, but he points out humbly, I have all these years of experience, and with my master, you don't think there's something that I can contribute, that I can advise? I mean, this kind of mood he would have, but it would be steeped in humility. And we've seen Gurudev on various occasions, being what you could say in an awkward position. But Gurudev always humble, tolerant, and giving honor to others. And we are focusing on this behavior with the devotees, but Srila Gurudev also said, and it's, we are there, Gurudev saying to us, he's saying, and I've seen that this is the solution for every situation, the mundane situation also, the mundane things that happen in the world. Solution is humility, tolerance, giving honor to others. And he said, and I have tried everything else, and I still come back to this. Finally, it can only be solved that way. And in India and many places, I suppose, but to get property, to manage the the local gundas and so many things, you have to negotiate these things in the material world. And Srila Gurudev, in one sense, you could say he was the expert politician. But what was his policy? Finally, humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. And this way, then, the challenges that came from the very materialistic side of the world, the Gundas and that section of the world, they're not so spiritual, one assumes. But Gurudev managed their challenges and their obstructions and things in this way, and said it's the only way to be successful. Anyway, that nature of Gurudev we do see in the devotees. This nature, not only of the humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, but the affection, the sincerity, the mood is coming through the family. And there is an expression that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I think that is sometimes used in a bad way. Like somebody, father's a thief, so the son's also going to have those thieving tendencies. But a good apple doesn't fall far from the good apple tree. Let's use it in a positive way. And really, we've met devotees, and devotees have met us, and we've met devotees for the first time without knowing anything about our backgrounds. And then I can remember some situations where we've met devotees, and then immediately we somehow know we're from Chaitanya Saraswat Math, and there's something which is there. But I have to say, there was one devotee who's no longer with us anymore. He died in a road accident many years ago now. But we met for the first time at Bandel railway station, which is where the train, sometimes you have to change the train when you're going from Calcutta to Navadip, which is where Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And in Bandel, this devotee got on the train right at the door where I'm standing, because the trains are often full and we're all jammed onto the train. And he came in and we talked for just a few minutes, and he said, "You're from Chaitanya Saraswat Math, aren't you?" And I was feeling very proud of myself here. He recognizes I'm from Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And then later on, he said, "I knew you were not from ISKCON." And the same thing that Gurudev was saying about Siddhanti Maharaj and others, because of how you dressed. So I was thinking, then I'm thinking, oh, he's saying that because of, something else. But actually, he felt like he was from Chaitanya Saraswat Math, and he felt, he was very sweet and affectionate. And anyway, he passed away many years ago now, that devotee. But, sometimes it's not always for the reasons we may wish it to be that our family members recognize each other. But that was a comment by Gurudev, and a question to the assembled devotees one day. "Oh, so what is the difference between Chaitanya Saraswat Math and ISKCON?" And the devotees coming out with some Siddhantic answers. And then Srila Gurudev, just very sweetly and humbly, after hearing their answers, he said, "ISKCON dress better." And then just after that, Siddhanti Maharaj, our dear Siddhanti Maharaj, who he would be happy to hear us telling these stories, by the way. We're not saying them behind his back, we're saying them happily, knowing that he'll be happy. Then he walked up onto the veranda, almost as an example of, oh, yes, look, we don't dress quite the same way as ISKCON. Sorry, Hari Gopal Prabhu, I know you are living there in the ISKCONs, surrounded by the ISKCON devotees. That's why you dress so pakka. Hare Krishna. Anyway, I just wanted to say that there is unlimited quotes about humility, tolerance, giving honor to others. It was always fresh coming from Gurudev, always fresh coming from Guru Maharaj. Whenever we read now, in the books, in the articles, everywhere, it's always fresh and always knocking on our head that we are not doing it. We are maybe trying to do it, but actually to do must come from inside to out. We're not practicing to be theater performers and putting on a good show in the theater. All of this advice is for our attitude from inside to out. And so this way, it's a lifetime of practice. And again, that is another quote from Gurudev. He's saying that it's all life practice. This sloka of humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. So certainly a way of life and not a motto. Not just a motto to put on our t-shirt or something cool to write on your t-shirt, but something to write in our heart. And I think Saraswati is already prepared to say a word or two, because a little while ago I did mention to her, you know Gurudev from so long before. And she was in Navadip in quite early days after Srila Guru Maharaj disappeared, and maybe even before Srila Guru Maharaj disappeared. She can correct me on the actual dates, but that time, from quite a long time ago, and she knew Srila Gurudev when he was, before world tours and all of these things. She knows his heart as well. And it is the London Zoo. And if Saraswati, if you'd like to just share a little something or a big something, Vaikuntha is unlimited. You can give us unlimited something if you like. We'll be happy to hear a few words.
Dhandava Maharaj. You're always very encouraging. Oh dear. Yeah, I met Gurudev after Srila Guru Maharaj left. And my first experience with him was I could see in himself like the perfect example of these qualities: humility, tolerance, giving honor to others without expecting any honor from himself. So I could recognize that in him, and that's what really captivated me, that mood of humility and like that. So, and dedication, of course, and so many more wonderful qualities that Gurudev has. But I was also thinking, Srila Gurudev is saying from one of the books, Revealed Truth, that we need to cultivate the real, cultivate within ourselves the real humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, to help us remove our false ego, because it says that the false ego is very dangerous and is removing our enthusiasm to serve and to so to leave our ego is very difficult. So we have to try to cultivate all these qualities. And I always tell the devotees that it's very, in a temple environment, it's a perfect environment to practice these qualities, because we are always surrounded with so many different personalities, different backgrounds, different cultures, all together in one space. And we have to always bump into each other, and it can be quite difficult also. So it's a perfect place to put these teachings into practice, not just theory, but actually put it into practice. And this is on a daily basis. And not only with the devotees in the temple, but with everyone we encounter in our practice, in our journey, in our devotional life. With anyone in the street as well, because we are also showing our example as well, right? We are representing our Gurudev, and we also have to show a good example to others. That's what I wanted to say. And Srila Gurudev always emphasized this sloka. Always, 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 so many times. Every lecture, he emphasized this, how important it is to cultivate this humility and tolerance and giving honor to others. And like Devashis Prabhu was saying, it's not a false humility or false tolerance or tolerating with affection. And I don't know if you remember, Maharaj or Devashis Prabhu, this story of this devotee in Navadvip, or maybe it was a senior devotee of God brother of Guru Maharaj who was quite ill, and he was very humble, but didn't say to anyone he was very ill. Do you remember that? So
yes, it was when the center, the first Sri Chaitanya Math center in Calcutta was being moved from Ultadanga to Bag Bazaar, to the temple. And then it was that day Then they'd been carrying like some very heavy things. I don't remember exactly what they were carrying, but Guru Maharaj had been carrying, and it was, I believe it was Professor Sanyal. Isn't that correct, Devashish Prabhu? Professor Sanyal, he'd also been carrying like all these heavy things, and Guru Maharaj and they were sharing a room, and maybe with others, because Gurudev told that at that time, usually it was like this, the sannyasis would be like 6 in a room like this. And Gurudev did say, not like today, but it was that time that they were sharing rooms very much. And that Professor Sanyal, in the morning, then he told to Srila Guru Maharaj, who was sharing the room with, he said, last night, I felt like I'm going to die, really felt like I was going to die. Some feeling came like that. I was so exhausted and so lack of energy, but I didn't want to disturb you. And then Guru Maharaj brought this to the attention of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Saraswati Thakur. He then expressed, oh no, this immediately we must get the doctor and see to him. And Guru Maharaj used this as an example that this is not the humility. We must be practical. It is like over humble. We must be practical for the circumstances and for our savor, our bodies, everything. It is for savor. So there is some proper application of humility, and Guru Maharaj himself gave this example.
Yeah. And one thing also Srila Gurudev says about giving honor to others, he said, about that one is that we have to give honor to everyone. In that way, we will avoid any violation, which is also very, very damaging our spiritual life in regards to that one.
Srila Gurudev said, we don't know who is a Vaishnava. In the street, we do not know who is a Vaishnava. Somebody may be a great Vaishnava. So as we don't offend any Vaishnava, then we will be very careful, be humble, tolerant, and give honor to everyone.
Yes, Maharaj. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat. And we have a full temple room in West London, the West London Temple.
Yeah, we can say that there is on the left side an Nakshi with a daughter, Chaitanya Priya.
But can we highlight it? Who's got the controls? Yeah. Oh, okay. And you can unhighlight me so we get a bigger picture.
This Lavanya magic coming through. Then in the middle is Ananda Swarupini.
Okay.
Behind Ananda Swarupini is Lakshmi Rani from Colombia.
Okay, very good. Bien.
And then in the door is there, behind the door is Gadadhar Pandit, who is the cook tonight.
Aha.
Maheshwari here. Maheshwari. And Jai Goranga, the new servitor.
Very good. And what does it say on Jai Gauranga's t-shirt, on his sweatshirt?
Always remember the secret. Always remember the secret of the future is hidden in your daily routine.
Can you say it louder or nearer in the microphone?
Always remember the secret of the future is hidden in your daily routine.
Always remember this, the
secret of the future is hidden in your daily routine.
Oh, an unembodied voice from the sky. It's a sign. So it's hidden. The future, the secret of the future is hidden in your daily routine. There we are. There's a good T-shirt to have for those of you who have offensive T-shirts.
Jai Gauranga is already engaged in all kinds of services, puja and tulasi seva.
Cleaning, pot washing, everything.
Harinam Sankirtan too.
Okay, we're proud of him.
Yes.
And are you all setting a good example for him?
Well, we're trying.
Yes. Yes.
It's mutual. We are all trying to do good for each other, and we should all try to set a good example, as Devashis was saying, to the public, but also to the devotees. It's not that we'll just, if we have some guests from outside come, then we'll be on our best behavior. We'll try to be on our best behavior with everybody, and we must all give each other little reminders when we are not doing the things that we're meant to be doing. So our daily routine is important, and our daily routine must include self-examination. Self-examination. How am I doing? Have I been humble, tolerant, and given honor to others today? Have I chanted my japa? Have I chanted it? Was I dreaming or checking my internet while chanting the japa or not? Devashis showed a good video. He must show you there. One day in the London temple, Devashis, take that video you showed in Thailand on like what not to do when chanting japa. It was made by some devotees in ISKCON, but it was entertaining, but it knocking on our conscience a little bit, because we all do at least some of those wrong things, but it was quite entertaining, I have to say, and so we do remember. We do.
Already has done like a PowerPoint presentation. I think it was the same.
Yeah.
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 Maybe to do another reminder.
Yeah, of course.
Well, no harm to see it again. I would actually like to see it again and show the devotees here also. How long is it? It's like 5 minutes, correct?
Man, not less than that. 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, how about we give a preview for next Monday's Zoom, that just 3 or 4 minutes of the Zoom, you have the controls. I think you can share your screen with that video, because it is a good little reminder to us all. It's a suggestion, of course, Devashis Prabhu, but
Sure, much.
after we've given it such a good promotion, almost like we need to show. Yes, Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu, the cook this evening, and he's come also into the temple room. Hare Krishna. And Ananda Sarupini, how long are you staying there?
No, I came yesterday and I have to go back tonight. So just a quick one.
Okay. Because you're studying hard. Well done, you. Well done. And I think I saw Vijay Krishna Prabhu and Leelamai, Devidasi. Happy to see you here with us also. From East London, from a very gentle part of East London, very nice place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I'm on one room and she's in the other room. Yeah, two others, yeah.
Okay.
Trying to handle both, listening to lectures and the lessons of the years, and then also to work, finish some of the things. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you, Maharaj.
Well, this is the London Zoom, so we're very happy to have you with us, Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj.
You both with us, yes. Hare Krishna. And here is Leelamai. Oh, she's on another screen here, yes. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj. Yeah,
Now
just
you-
downstairs with
Now
baby.
you can talk to each other in your own house through our
Yeah.
London Zoom.
Here, come. Say Haribol. Haribol.
Haribol, Govinda, Govinda. This way also the devotees, they get to see more of our London, UK family as well. Oh, look, Nirupama, she's joined us to show also her son, Tota Gopinath. Hi, Tota Gopinath, Hare Krishna. And Avdarya Leela. Oh, everyone's popping up on the screen now, turning on the video, Jai. Happily. It's nice to see you all. And Malati Priyadiri, she's been with us from the beginning today too. Brajarama Didi also, she's been with us all this while. Ganga Leela. But all of you, and Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, have been with us all this while. Tunga Rasa Didi. I sent you a little note before. Gratefully. Hare Krishna, Ananta Sheshu in Brazil, in Spain. Yes, Gangalila with a green heart, eco-friendly heart, 9 and under. Okay, I'm going to be carried away by all the devotees here, Devashish Prabhu. So I hand back to you. But I can say that if we follow the program that Gurudev wants, like Jai Gaurang Prabhu says, got that thing on his shirt that says about in your daily routine, the secret of the future rests on your daily routine. If we can, to some degree, whether it's 90%, 50%, 20%, 10%, but to follow the daily program that Gurudev and Guru Maharaj gave, then we will always be reminded of the mood of the Vaishnavas by singing the kirtans, the compositions of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, of Srila Guru Maharaj, of Srila Gurudev. We'll be imbibed with this idea that it's the opposite of all these violent rap songs and things which are in the everywhere. It's the opposite of that. It's to sing the kirtans, because there we are learning about humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, the importance of the Vaishnavas, and so many things. And this is what we should be singing about and remembering. And then with the books of Gurudev, Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, and chanting our japa and trying to serve the devotees whenever we can get the chance, then we have a very good recipe that the future secrets may be revealed to us in a good way.
Jai.
Yes, Devashish Prabhu.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for joining with us this evening. And we get inspiration just seeing your faces and hearing from all the devotees, their life experiences, their realizations, and sharing with one another. This is what Sadhu Sangha means, actually, to share with one another those things that are inspiring us in Krishna consciousness, and in a very real way. So we're very grateful, and we're very happy to see everyone, and always encouraged to go on when we see all your smiling faces. So my obeisances to you all. And it's time now to finish up. So say Jayam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Jai Nityalila Pravishnam Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Rupanu Guru Bhagya ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki jai. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai. Jai all the assembled devotees ki jai. All the world devotees ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
Haribol. And Devashish Prabhu ki jai. And more faith is coming up on our screen. Jadu Gopal Prabhu, Subal Prabhu, Krishna Mohini Didi, Madhura Leela popped up on our screen too. And Ashapurna Devidasi, Madhura Leela in Latvia then. Jai. So to all of you good souls, wishing you successful Seva week, and we look forward to seeing our Japa, how to chant Japa properly video next week as a small part of the program. So do tune in next time too. Udaran Prabhu, all the who I haven't mentioned, all who I have mentioned, my repeated obeisances and best wishes. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasinduvyeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
No, no,
Hare
Chalavan.
Krishna. All right, I was wondering whose voice was the Namaha that Inakti's daughter. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And serve the devotees. Make mommy and daddy happy and all the devotees happy. Hare Krishna.
Jai Maharaj, Nandavats.
Dandavat. Ashchi. Amra Ashchi.